Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Austin from Calling Our Shot. We're back for some player props and spreads in the NBA for Saturday, March 20th. Man, it feels good to be on the weekend. I want to say thank you guys for all the support. The support over the last week have been crazy. We've gained, I think, almost over 600 subscribers, so shout out to you. Still 50% of the people that watch these videos aren't subscribed, so if that's you, please consider clicking that like and subscribe button. It's free. Thank you guys again for all the support. Two quick notes before we get into some player props and spreads for Saturday in a very weird slate, so be cautious. But two quick notes. Discord, we have a Discord chat. There's over 240 members at the moment. I did organize it a little more so that it's more organized and people can kind of get to the right place and see people's picks. But there's a lot of winners in there, a lot of people going 60, 70% on the night. So be sure to join that. It's not just NBA. We have a March Madness channel. We have NFL, MLB, soccer, hockey, MMA, UFC, all of that stuff, golf even. If you want to join, the link is in the description. Number two, we have a live stream every single day at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you to everyone for coming out to the past couple live streams. We've been averaging 30 to 40 viewers every single minute of the live stream. So shout out to everyone that's joining. I will not have a live stream today, so if you have any questions about player props or spreads that you guys like, feel free to leave them in the comments down below, and I will respond to every single comment I see. But yeah, thank you guys again for the support. Let's get into some player props and spreads today. And we're going to start with Trey Young over 8.5 assists. Last night in the Discord, me and a couple people were talking. Alex and Ronak. Alex is he's at Walking Out the Bank like in our Discord. So if you know him, you know he's an OG. You know he posts very detailed answers and responses to his player props. And we had the over 8.5 assists. All of us combined on it. It was plus 100. Now when you look at it, it is minus 130. Not a surprise when you look at what Trey Young's done, and here's why. You know, Trey Young, when these two teams played back on February 1st, the Lakers and the Hawks we're talking about, Trey Young finished with 16 assists. He has cashed this over in 3 of his past 4 games and 5 of his last 8. And, you know, one of those games he didn't cash in those 8 games was without Clint Capella, and it was a blowout against the Cavaliers. He does average more assists when Capella is back, and Capella should be active tonight. The Hawks should be able to hang around in this game, as the first matchup that the Hawks and Lakers played, Anthony Davis was active. Trey Young is averaging 9.3 assists per game against teams in the top 10 of defensive efficiency, where the Lakers find themselves. And, you know, it was at plus 100. Now it's minus 132. Still like it for a unit. Still take it. Trey Young should be able to hit 10-plus assists, and you will see that in the parlay of the day later in this video. But stay tuned for that. We're moving on into Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward, we're taking his under 17.5 points. And this is no disrespect to Gordon Hayward. I just don't know what has gotten into him. He doesn't attempt many shots recently. You know, Hayward has attempted 8 or less shots in 3 of his past 4 games. And if he's going to attempt 8 or less shots, this under is going to hit 9 times out of 10, in my opinion. It's just, there's no way around it. You can't score 18 points on only 8 shots. Very few people in the league can do it unless you're absolutely going to town at the free throw line. And Hayward normally doesn't get to the free throw line that much. The under for Hayward has cashed in 4 of his past 5 games. I don't know necessarily if it's Devontae Graham is back, or Lamello Ball is now the focal point of the offense, or Terry Rozier, or I don't know what it is, but Hayward has not been playing very well, or he's been shooting it efficiently. It's just he hasn't been shooting the ball, which is half the reason we're taking this under. The Clippers give up the fewest points per game to opposing small forwards. Obviously, you have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, who play great defense. They give up, I believe, a little over 17 points per game to opposing small forwards. So that's another thing not boding well for Gordon Hayward. And, you know, he has the skill set to hit this over, and if he's going to shoot 20-plus times, then so be it. But he has not been shooting like that. If he shoots another 8 to 10 times tonight like he has been, this under should be cash. Moving on into my last player prop of the day, and then I'll give you one lean that we're looking at. Ben Simmons, over 16.5 rebounds and assists. This line has moved up to 17.5, but wouldn't be surprised to see it go back to 16.5. And if you have alt spreads like FanDuel normally posts, I would still take it at 16.5 just to be safer. But 17.5, you're getting plus money, and I think he still can hit that. You know, we're no longer betting on the points, rebounds, and assists for Simmons. He just isn't a scorer, and I don't want to count on him to drop 15 to 20 points in order to hit that. But since Embiid went down, Simmons has been filling it up. He had 22 combined rebounds and assists against Milwaukee, 20 combined against the Knicks, and then he only had 13 against the Spurs, but he played 26 minutes. It was an absolute blowout. So I assume this game tonight against the Sacramento Kings will be closer. The Kings have been playing better as of late, as they just beat the Celtics, which truthfully between both of us, not really a great feat this time of the year. Celtics have been playing terribly, but a lot of opportunities for Simmons to not only rack up some rebounds and assists tonight because of Sacramento they play super fast. There's going to be a lot of misses, a lot of shots from three. I think Simmons can get, maybe up to 10 rebounds. Maybe you'll see that in the parlay of the day, but I'm taking Simmons over 16.5 rebounds and assists. I would take that for a full unit. The over 17.5, don't love it as much, but you still get better value, and I wouldn't be surprised if he hit that as well. I think he might combine for over 20 plus tonight. And then my last player prop of the day, we're going Lamello Ball. This is another one from Alex. Lamello Ball over 11.5 rebounds and assists. He has cleared this number in 8 of 10 games. Both teams love to launch it from three. You got the Hornets and you got the Clippers. So plenty of long misses that might bounce his way. Obviously, you're asking for a lot with some rebounds, but LaMelo's been killing it. Like I said, 8 of 10 games he's hit it. This over is set at 230 in the 230s. So Vegas expects a high scoring game, which I would expect as well, as you'll see in my player props and my spreads that I'm getting into in a second. He's playing into the Staples Center, where he just combined for 12 rebounds and assists against the Lakers. And, this is a line you got to consider tonight. I think LaMelo Ball can hit this with ease. He's been showing the capability to put up more and more assists each night, and I think 11.5 is not asking for a lot from him. He should be able to get some rebounds and assists to pile up the stats. And plus, he's playing in the Staples Center. This is this is probably the one arena that he went to a ton as a child. He just hit this number against the Lakers. I say he hits it again against the Clippers tonight. And then one other player that you can look into, Montrezl Harrell. Disappointing night a couple nights ago. He did terribly, but he did have 19 points the last time these two teams played against the Hawks. The Hawks do not have a big man on the second unit. They got Clint Capella, and that's about it. Then they run a small ball lineup with John Collins and Danilo Gallinari in the game. So Montrezl Harrell could feast against that lineup, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him hit his over. He did stink it up, but it wasn't necessarily a terrible performance for him. Still had 11 rebounds, I believe, in the last game, but he only shot 6 times. Like I said in the previous video, if Montrezl is going to shoot 12, 14 times, I bet you he hits his over every single time, but it's when he only shoots 6 times that's a little concerning. So give a look at him, see what you think. Now we're getting to some spreads and over-unders, and I'm going to start with my favorite one, the early game on the slate, the Lakers -4 versus the Atlanta Hawks. Sure. The Hawks are on a 7-game winning streak. Lakers are on a 4-game winning streak of their own. But here are the teams that the Hawks have beaten on their 7-game winning streak. Started it with a win against the Heat without Jimmy Butler. So that's not really saying much. Then they've beaten the Raptors, which were banged up, missing Siakam and Van Vliet. They beat the Magic, Cavaliers, Kings, Thunder, Rockets. There's your 7 teams. It's not like it's an impressive feat. Granted, I do want to give the Hawks their respect. Normally they would lose a lot of these games, and they're killing it, and they're trying to get back into the playoff hunt, and I believe they are in the playoffs at the moment. So they've been playing great, but when you look at the Hawks' numbers, the Hawks are 1-8 in their last 9 games against the Lakers, and 2-12 in their last 14 games in the Staples Center. That is where they find themselves tonight. I expect LeBron James and company to get it done. Like I said, they're on a 4-game winning streak of their own, beating the Warriors, Pacers, Timberwolves, and Hornets. Not saying that all those teams are very good, but they're better competition than what the Hawks have been playing. I do expect the Lakers to, I think this game will be close, but I think the Lakers pull it out towards the end and win this easily and cover. LeBron will put them away in the 4th. This Hawks team is super young. They aren't used to playing in super close games, and so I think the Hawks will lose again tonight, and I will take the Lakers to cover. Moving on, and just as a disclaimer, today in general is a weird night. There is 5-6 games on, and it's hard to catch a spread on each side. We've seen a lot of teams get blown out that were favorites. A lot of teams that were underdogs blow teams out, like the Warriors. The Celtics got blown out last night. The Nets lost to the Magic. So I would proceed cautiously. It is a weird night in the NBA. I can't get a great read on a lot of these teams. And speaking of the Warriors, we're going back to them. The Grizzlies versus the Warriors. We're taking the Grizzlies -6. When it doesn't make sense, we take the bet. And that's what we did last night when we took the Suns and the Timberwolves. You had the Suns 11-point favorites after just losing outright to the Timberwolves, which was the identical line when they lost outright. And they had the same over-under when the teams combined for over 240. What I said on the live stream was to take the Suns to cover and the under. What do you know? Both of them hit. That would be more or less the same thing here. Grizzlies just got absolutely destroyed. They were 9-point favorites against the Warriors, and they just got absolutely demolished. There's no way around it, and that's why I avoided the Grizzlies spread the first game of this back-to-back. I wanted to see how they performed in the first one, and they performed terribly. But that's why I took the under, because I didn't expect... Honestly, it was the exact opposite of what I thought, but it still worked out. The Warriors absolutely went off. But here's what you got. You got 86 combined points out of Wiggins, Jordan Poole, and Damian Lee. If they're going to get 86 combined points again tonight, they will win. But I am here to break it to all the Warriors fans out there. I don't think there's any chance in hell that they get 86 combined points out of those three. Just not sustainable. And so like I said with the Suns last night, the Grizzlies, again, -6 favorites. They were -9 the other night against the Warriors. Vegas gave them a couple more points, but Vegas still expects the Grizzlies to come out and win. I'm taking the Grizzlies to win and cover tonight against the Warriors in a big bounce-back performance at home. Moving on into my last spread or over-under of the day, we're going to take the Hornets versus the Clippers over 230, 230.5, 231, whatever it is. As we've talked about, we love cashing the Hornets overs. We did not take when they're on the road. That is a distinct disclaimer. When they are on the road, Hornets road games have an over. Back on track. Hornets overs on the road have cashed in 15 of 20 games. The total has gone over in 10 of 11 games for Charlotte when they are on the road. Both of these teams fire up a lot of threes, and they shoot great percentage-wise. They're both in the top 6 percentage for three-pointers, Clippers being first place, and the Hornets are 6th place. If they can knock down some threes, they're going to play fast. I think they can hit this over. The Clippers do tend to play to the pace of the other team. They've seen them hit the over against the Pelicans and other teams like the Kings. They play to the speed of the opponent, and I think the Hornets will go fast to try to score against this Clippers defense. So I'm locking in the over, but like I said, it is a weird night of NBA action, so proceed cautiously. Let's see what we can do and take from the slate. My parlay of the day, we're going to take Clippers money line, Lakers -4, and Ben Simmons over 16.5 rebounds and assists. That should be around plus 300. Not bad, terrible odds. I do think the Clippers and Lakers, both LA teams, will win. I'll take the Lakers to handle the Hawks and cover, whereas I'll just take the Clippers to win outright over the Hornets, although they are 8 to 9 point favorites. So they're probably going to lose outright if you were to bet on it. But long shot parlay of the day, and this long shot I feel really good about. Just something, when you look at them, you're like, you know what, this is a winner, and this is what it's going to be. We're going to take John Morant, 20-plus points and a win. Trey Young, 10-plus assists. And Ben Simmons, 10-plus rebounds. I think all of those has a realistic shot of hitting just by themselves. Combine them together, I think you're almost at plus 1,100, plus 1,200 if I were not mistaken. So not bad odds for a parlay of the day. Now we're going to go into each game, and I'll just we've already kind of talked about each game on the slate. Hawks versus Lakers. I'm obviously on the Lakers -4. Over under 223. I have no opinion on that. This game is either going to go over 20 points or under 20 points, in my opinion. They're either barely going to crack 200 or they're going to hit this over out of the park like the Timberwolves versus Lakers over a couple nights ago when they combined for 250, 256, something like that. Grizzlies versus Warriors. I'm on the Grizzly train tonight. If the over-under comes up under 220, I would probably take the over. It makes no sense, but I think the Grizzlies go crazy tonight. I would probably take the Warriors team total under. There's no way they can sustain Jordan Poole, Damian Lee, and Andrew Wiggins having absolute crazy games. Kings versus Sixers. Sixers are -7 favorites. I think the Kings can cover that. The Kings have been playing really well. De'Aaron Fox is going off. He could be in the conversation for most improved player. He's been exceptionally well, but it is the 76ers at home. I would lean the under if I had to pick something in this game, so I'd go under 234.5. Just my thoughts. Now we're going on to Spurs and Bucks. This seems like a game that the Spurs will cover because it makes no sense. I was going to take the Bucks. And shout out to, if you are new, check out Chris and Rodney's podcast. They are a longtime supporter of this channel. Chris and Rodney host a podcast every single Friday where they talk about really anything. They're just two best friends, and they reached out to me, and I really want to help them grow their channel. I will leave their link in the description below. Check out their podcast. They are hella funny, and I think you guys will enjoy it. Plus, I am featured on their most recent podcast, and we'll be having a short segment on their on their podcast from here on out for every single Friday. So check them out. And they are longtime Bucks supporters. But I don't know if I can pick the Bucks to cover tonight. It's hard to pick. The Bucks are winning this game by 20 plus, or they might lose outright. You know, I do like DeMar DeRozan's over. He has hit this in two straight games against the Bucks last year. So, and he's back. I think it's 19.5 points. So something to look at, but hard to get a gauge on that Spurs-Bucks game. And then the Hornets versus Clippers. Obviously, I prefer the over. If I had to pick one, I'd pick the Hornets to cover. It's just, 9.5 points is a lot for the Clippers. I just don't know if they'll cover that and win by that many points, but I do expect the Clippers to win. See, like I said, there's a lot of weird games on the slate tonight. But also, please join that Discord in the link below and check out Chris and Rodney's podcast. They talked about March Madness in their most recent one, and they are very funny, so I would check them out for sure, and you'll see me featured in their most recent podcast. All the links are in the description. Thanks again for all the support. I'll be back tomorrow for my normal video. Check out the video right after this. It is going to be an NCAA March Madness, me picking every single game on the slate. We'll see how we do. I'm not a March Madness guru, but we'll see how we can fare today. We did not fare very well on Friday, but I think Saturday I'm bouncing back. So those have been my picks for today. Good luck to everyone. Check the Discord. A lot of positive reinforcement and a lot of great bets there. Reese, Alex, a lot of people, Ronak, a lot of people are killing it. ANDP, I believe that's his name. A lot of people have been killing it, so go check them out. A lot of parlays are cashing, a lot of bad beats, which are unfortunate, but shout out to everyone for the support. Let's gain some more subscribers. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your grandma to subscribe. We're growing this channel as big as we can. This has been Austin. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. No live stream again today, but I'll be back tomorrow for not only the normal video and the live stream. Check out the NCAA March Madness picks right after this video. It's been Austin. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace out.